Whenever people talk about video games, they seldom talk about the inventory system. They're not like, oh yeah, Dead Space is a sick game, but the inventory system was what really made it come together. Yeah, no, that doesn't happen. Which is too bad, because some games have fantastic inventory systems. There's one in particular that rivals Melee when it comes to beauty and depth. I am, of course, talking about Resident Evil 5, which is the peak of inventory systems. To say otherwise is ignorant at best. Many people enjoy Resident Evil 4's inventory system, which is a good inventory system, but it really can't hold a candle to the complexity and depth that is Resident Evil 5's system. I know my audience is mostly Melee fans, so I'm going to explain how if you're looking for a Melee alternative that isn't Melee, then you should really be playing around with Resident Evil 5. In fact, I would go as far as to say that Resident Evil 5's inventory system is closer to Smash Melee than Smash Ultimate is. Like, actually for real. And to illustrate my point, I want to go over 4 key components which make this amazing inventory system as amazing as it is. I'll be going over its functional and elegant design, how it's in real time, its strategic depth, and the inventory reload system. So that sounds pretty good, yeah? So let's get into it. Right away, the inventory system speaks for itself. It's easy to read and gives you all the necessary information. Items that are in the top, bottom, left, and right slots are mapped to the D-pad, which means you can access them without even looking at your inventory. But even then, opening up your inventory still allows you to see what's going on so you can stay mindful of your surroundings. Selecting an item opens up a menu of actions you can perform with it, and you can also open up your partner's inventory with a push of a button. This allows you to keep tabs on total inventory, and you can even request items from your partner. And if things are getting too cluttered, you can just as easily hide their inventory again. This is where I should mention the social aspect of Resident Evil 5's inventory. Like in Melee, you can fly solo and face the world by yourself. But also like in Melee, you can team up with a buddy and work together to take on the world. Really, there's a lot of teamwork involved with this inventory system. Not only can you keep tabs on your partner's inventory and request items, but you can also give items. Succeeding in Resident Evil 5 means being a team player, so you and your buddy will want to find opportunities to give each other the items you need.
Thanks.
And finally, reorganizing your inventory is simple. All you need to do is select an item, move it over to where you want to put it, and you're done. You can also reload your guns by putting ammo into your gun slot, but we'll talk about that in a bit. All in all, an intuitive and easy to use system. One of the most notable features of the inventory system is that it's in real time. While I suspect this is because the game featured co-op, the real-time nature of it does so much for it. Opening up the inventory doesn't break up the action or the pacing. You are encouraged to spend as little time as possible in your inventory, as the game doesn't wait for you while you sort through your items. This means that Mr. Chainsaw Maniac over here isn't going to wait patiently while you futz around in your inventory. As much as I love Resident Evil 4, whenever something bad and gruesome is about to happen, you can pause the game by opening your inventory and take a breather. I mean, yeah, eventually you have to confront whatever ugly thing that wants to maim you, but doing so kills the tension, doesn't it? In Resident Evil 5, not even the inventory system will save you. And finally, the biggest reason of all, why I know that being in real time is a good thing, is because Melee is in real time, and Melee is a good thing. I rest my case. One of the greatest strengths of Resident Evil 5's inventory system is the amount of strategic depth that it offers. Now you might be thinking, where's the strategic depth, Frudgey? All I see are 9 inventory slots. Yeah, you dummy, the strategic depth comes from the fact that there are only 9 inventory slots. Let me explain. In my mind, part of what makes a survival horror game is the resource management. When you need to go through a spooky corridor with all the zombies and you only have 8 inventory slots, you have some hard decisions to make. Bringing your handgun's a no-brainer, but how much handgun ammo do you take with you? Do you only take the 20 rounds and hope that you find more? Or do you take the 50 rounds and run the risk of finding ammunition that you don't have space for? How much healing do you take with you? Just the green herb? Or do you take the green herb and the first aid spray? Do you take the shotgun with you? There were only a couple of zombies in the hallway, right? Or was it a couple of super zombies? Maybe we should be taking the shotgun shells as well. Do you want to keep a couple of spaces open in case you find anything amazing, or do you fully stock up so that you're ready for anything? That's a lot of decision making. You have to ask yourself so many questions when it comes to resource management, and that's where all the strategy comes from. Do I keep these proxy bombs as Wesker, or do I throw them away because the extra inventory slot is worth more? Or do I just go crazy and only have a handgun and a shotgun and then keep as many explosives as I can find? Is it worth it to have the tactical vest, or am I confident enough in my abilities to not need it and free up space? Is it worth 1 inventory slot to be cool and take the stun rod? And don't even get me started on the grenade launcher and all the different rounds you can have. In short, there's a lot of resource management and decision making that you have to do in Resident Evil 5. And while I'm at it, do you know what other genre has lots of resource management? Real-time strategy. Hey, does that mean Resident Evil 5 is an RTS game? Another cool thing about inventory management is that your personality shines through. How you decide to organize your loadout reflects on you as a person, I think. Here we have the Zane, the Wizrobe, the S2J, and the Nun. To recap, Resident Evil 5's inventory system has strategic depth and it allows you to express yourself just like some other game we know. To insist that there's no strategy involved is like saying that there's no strategy in Melee, and we all know how dumb and wrong that is. Inventory reloading, as far as I'm concerned, is what elevates the inventory system from great to absolutely legendary. This is what separates the chumps from the professionals. So you might be asking, what is inventory reloading? Inventory reloading is literally just reloading a weapon in the inventory screen. You select your ammo, drop it onto your weapon, and boom, you're done. Weapon reloaded. The inventory reload is significant because it adds the skill gap to managing your inventory. Absolute beginners won't even try to inventory reload, they'll just do it manually. Novice players will experiment with the inventory reload where there are breaks in the action, or if they're doing something like climbing a ladder. Intermediate players will inventory reload during longer animations, and seasoned veterans will reload every chance they get. You're in the middle of headbutting someone? What a perfect opportunity to reload your weapons. I also want to take a minute to appreciate the novelty of being able to reload your firearms while actively headbutting someone. What other game lets you do that? Seriously, what other game allows you to reload your weapons while headbutting someone? Isn't that just, like, what other game lets you do that? Seriously, what other game lets you reload your guns while headbutting someone? Doesn't that count for anything? Like, this is why Resident Evil 5 is the best game in the series. Seriously, okay, alright, where was I? Oh yeah, experienced players will be able to reload every chance they get, but it goes beyond that. If you're feeling especially cheeky, you could try to reload all of your weapons at once with an inventory reload, if you're fast enough. The point is, it takes skill to manage your inventory, and the better you become, the faster you'll be able to reload your weapons. How someone utilizes the inventory reload is a pretty good indicator of how good of a player they are, proving that technical depth is something that both Melee and RE5 have in common.
That's gonna be some good footage.
So as you can see, Resident Evil 5 was essentially the Melee of inventory systems. In fact, you might even just say that Resident Evil 5 is basically Melee. I mean, really, it is alternative Melee, it's just that good. So if you like Melee, which I know most of you do, then do yourself a favor and play Resident Evil 5. It's only a matter of time before the Resident Evil 5 inventory system esports scene takes the world by storm. And Fizzy, if you're watching this, I am begging you, I am pleading with you to please add rollback netcode to Resident Evil 5. I would pay you $5 to make this happen. Thank you. For my next video, we're going to do a deep dive analysis on how Wesker and Captain Falcon are basically the same person. But for now, thank you for watching the video.
Thanks. 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 Go!